recent video, I briefly used a cassette tape winder, and for some, this was the star of the show. I received quite a few requests to make a video about it, so here it is. But be careful what you wish for, because I made a video about a tape winder. How interesting is that going to be? Well, let's find out. But first, you can't talk about tape winders without mentioning the pen. If you've ever found yourself with a cassette that looked like this, you could try and wind it back in with a finger, and it did work at a pinch, pun intended. But if you had a bic, well, then you were golden. A quick spin of the pen and everything was back to normal again. And if you're old enough, you may also someone winding a tape using this method, which I don't recommend, but I do remember resulting in a few tapes getting launched across my school bus back in the day. One thing about winding tapes back then was that it actually had a real-world cost associated with it. Imagine you got the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack, you wanted to listen to Axel F, but it's all the way at the other end of the tape. Well, you could, of course, put the cassette in your Walkman and fast-forward it until you got to the right point, but fast winding really sapped battery life, and it's hard to get across just how expensive batteries were when, like myself, your pocket money was just £2 a week. The original Sony Walkman managed to achieve a pretty good battery life of 8 hours from 2 AA alkaline, but the Sony Walkman range were expensive machines, way beyond the price of anything that my family could afford. No, my personal stereo was a cheap own brand version from Dixon's. With these ones, to save on manufacturing costs, they didn't even have rewind buttons, just fast forward. People my age will remember that meant if you wanted to rewind, you took the cassette out, flipped it over, fast forwarded it on the other side, then took it out again and put it back in the machine. Anyway, back to the issue with batteries. Looking at my old Tandy catalogue to get some prices from 1986, a pack of 4 own brand AA alkalines were £1.99, and I'm pretty sure that was the average price for Duracells at this point as well. Well, when your personal stereo cost £15, spending £1 on 2 new batteries for it out of your own pocket money was a pretty big deal. To put it into perspective, relating to, say, a smartphone nowadays that costs £1,000, that would mean that it would cost you approximately £66 every time you charged it up. So most of the time I could only afford non-alkalines, standard batteries, which of course have a worse battery life. In this Sony TPS LP2, using normal batteries takes that playtime down from 8 hours to just 2.5. And remember, if you get giddy with the fast forward button, you're going to get a fraction of that. On top of that, some of the cheaper off-brands of machines, the less well-engineered ones, would be a lot more power-hungry than an official Sony Walkman. So you might be wondering, why not use rechargeable batteries? Well, for me, there were 2 reasons. A standard AA outputs 1.5 volts. A rechargeable takes that down to 1.2 volts, and I've found over the years that many devices just really don't appreciate that voltage drop. They'll either run a little bit odd, or they'll just run for a very short amount of time. But on top of that, back in the day, getting set up with rechargeable batteries and a charger was just far too expensive for me to even think about. Now, my solution at the time was to get one of these. You see, it all fits together, this. That's why I was talking about batteries, because I bought a tape winder to save on battery life. It was designed to fold up small and fit in a pocket. With this, I could wind one tape while I was listening to another. And once you got to the end of one side, the gears inside this are designed to slip, so you won't accidentally snap or stretch the tape. Now, I've seen another hand winder similar to this that was sold in Japan. It looks more sophisticated and it fits inside a cassette case, but it does seem to do the same thing. But yes, this really is my cassette winder from back in the day that I've kept for probably about 35 years now. I don't remember any of my friends having one of these, so they probably weren't all that common. However, the big pen, well, I'd imagine almost everyone my age has wound up a cassette at some point with a bic. But what about a pencil? Well, personally, no. Wind a cassette. However, I have noticed it's becoming a meme over the last few years. You can see posters and t-shirts, mugs and goodness knows what else, referring to cassettes being wound with a pencil. The problem with this idea is that the big pen fits the spindle of this cassette up as if it's in a red form. If you hold it too second, or it's still close to useless, as it spends more time slipping than it does turning spools. So what's the deal with this pencil and cassette thing? Yeah, perhaps the pencils used here in the UK. I think when you there. So that's exactly what I do.
Greetings. This is an LGR cameo thing. I must admit, when it comes to winding compact cassettes, I always just used a big ballpoint pen with a cap on it back in the day, or more often than that, I used one of these big crystal pins, which not only have a nice cap, but they have this hexagonal shape to the body itself. So winding a tape using the cap worked as you'd expect, but even just using the pin's casing itself did the job since it caught the teeth of the reels just enough to move them. As for the pencil series, though, the standard in the US is a number 2 HB type pencil like you traditionally get from companies like Dixon Ticonderoga. And while it has a similar 6-sided angled design to the body as that big crystal pen, number 2 pencils are thinner, a bit too much to easily wind the reels of a compact cassette. You have to kind of angle it in this slightly uncomfortable way to make that happen. Personally, I never saw anyone doing this back in the day, unless they were really desperate or something maybe. However, I was curious if the next size up pencil would do the trick. I remember having these BV units in kindergarten or something, and while I can't imagine many tape enthusiasts had them lying around, I was just curious enough at this point, and turns out it's actually too thick to even fit inside the reels. Although you can kind of jam the sharpened end inside there and move things around via friction, but neither pencil are anywhere near as useful as a classic ballpoint pen though, so I'm inclined to think that the whole using a pencil to wind a cassette meme is a tad revisionist, or perhaps we're just the weird ones for using pens instead of pencils.
Well, at least that proves that I wasn't going mad, or at least I'm not alone in going mad. Perhaps it's one of those Mandela effect things that people are always going on about. But if you make those beamy pictures, it might be time to go back and revise them. I've got to thank Clint from LGR for helping me out there. I know we've got quite a crossover of subscribers, but if you aren't already a subscriber to his channel, you could help him get past that million subscriber mark. He's not already done that by the time this video goes live. And then he'll get a nice plaque from YouTube, which I suspect will probably discontinue if I get close to achieving that milestone myself. But now, obviously, the main thing here, I would actually ask to see their sound tape line. I found this while browsing Japanese auction sites like consumer product, you don't necessarily want to use whole tape every time, just the recording sound. Now, of course, if you were raising cassettes in a commercial environment, say raising dictation tapes, that's the thing, you might use something like this. This is just for individual use. You could use a tape eraser. With something like this, you just set the cassette, just erase the whole thing. When I first saw it for sale on the auction site, the thumbnail picture made it like the removal Walkman, so I'd recommend if you've got one of these, you keep it out of the hands of children because they might mistake it for one of those as well. And in just a few seconds, your text could be erased because the machine detects the technologies of what we'll surely remember as the YouTube event of the year, stage erasing versus machine, the automatic winder versus the tandem hand winder, which in a catalogue was stated for the winder C90 cassette in just 60 seconds. Well, I've got two C60s here. Let's give it a go. I should really add some sound effects here. It took me all of a minute to wind my C60 tape, which is slightly slower than advertised. I haven't really been trained for this. The winder is pretty rough on the tape. Most likely is on the tape for a stretch against the round during playback. The Sony winder might have taken its time, but it's looking after the tape as well. The Sony would be useful for enthusiasts to spare unnecessary wear and tear on the machine. One of the Sony winder do have a second tape recorder, which they use just as a dedicated winder. Anyway, after 2 minutes, the automatic winder is finished as well, so it takes about twice as long again, but the tape inside has been looked after. The OTO went to 500 beats, so Japan 25 years ago, but now one of the best sellers to any Japanese auction sites. However, now it's time to open this one. Thanks again to Clinton, thanks again for this help with this, and hopefully between the two of us we've managed to make an interesting video price about cassette tape winders. But that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.